Hello guys, and welcome back to my Bobby Fischer series, one of the best series on my channel where I analyze 60 of his favorite games from his legendary book. So far we analyzed 6 of his games. This is the 7th one, and if you want you can check them out. I'm going to put the first link in the description down below so you guys can check the games before this one. And now let's get straight to this one. This is the international tournament in Zurich in Switzerland. So here Bobby Fischer was 16 years old and he faced some of the best grandmasters of the world. So you can get in the right mood. I'm going to first start this video with this nice picture. So you guys can see how strong Bobby was at 16 years old of age. We have Vasily Smyslov was ranked number 1. Then we have Michal Botvinnik, Tigran Petrosian, Boris Masky, Paul Keres on 5th place. Paul Keres is participating in the tournament. Then we have Svetozar Gligoric also participating. Samuel Arshevsky, American, on ranked 7th. Michael Tal also participating in this tournament. Ratmir Kolmo, Yuri Averbach, David Bronstein, Efim Geller, Viktor Korchnoi, Mark Taimanov from Soviet Union. We have Isak Boleslavsky, Miguel Najdorf, Alexander Kotov, Robert James Fischer. He was ranked 18 at the time with the rating performance of 2614. We had Sabo, Ludek Pachman, Leo Polugevsky, Uwe, and Donald Byrne. And as you can see, on 24th player was Olafsson Fridrik. This is the player who Bobby will face in this famous game. And this is the player from a grandmaster from Iceland. He was 8 years older than Bobby, so 24th. And let's see what happened in this one. We have a lot to cover and a lot to talk about. And the amazing thing is that you will see how Fridrik overconfidence showed in this game. And I'm not going to spoil the game for you, so let's see it, and you can later comment what went wrong. We have c4, and Bobby goes for knight to f6. We have knight jumps to c3 and g6. So as you can see, Bobby is going for his famous King's Indian defense, his primary weapon with the black pieces, and always playing for a win. We have d4, grabbing the full center, and bishop goes to g7. e4, now you need to prevent pawns coming to that e5 square, so Bobby played d6. We have knight to f3, this is the normal variation. Castles by black and bishop to e2. And now in this position, if you're playing the King's Indian defense, you can play a lot of moves. You can play a5, you can play c6, you can play rook e8 or knight to c6. This is what I like to play, or knight to d7. But Bobby chose the orthodox variation of the King's Indian, e5, and now we have castles is the most played move in this position, but now we have d5. This is now the Petrosian variation of the King's Indian. And now we have knight from b to d7, developing the knight. The knight is probably heading to that c5 square to put pressure on that e4 pawn. And we have bishop to g5, which Steinitz said in the book that this move is weak because black will start attacking this bishop with h6. Bishop goes to h4. And now in this position, what Bobby should play is g5. You further harass the bishop. The bishop goes to that awkward square. And you go after it with knight to h5. And after h4, white is trying to bust open the position. You first grab the bishop. And you need to recapture it. F takes on g3. And now you capture the pawn. Let's say, for example, rook captures, and now you play f5. You strike in the center, you will bust open the position, and after queen defends the pawn, you attack it once again with knight to c5. You put some additional pressure on the pawn. We would see something like bishop to d3 and queen goes to f6. As you can see, black is much better. This is positionally better for black. So, but in this position, when I analyzed the game, on my chessboard, I was confused because I didn't saw this move. I saw this move in the King's Indian defense, but particularly I didn't saw this move in Petrosian variation of the King's Indian, and it was odd to me. I clearly don't understand what's the plan. Maybe to put the rook to b8 and then try to bust open the position with b5. But it is said in the book that in those days this is how it was played. We have knight jumps to d2, and now queen to e8 makes sense. You need to unpin, and now a speculative move for Fridrik. We have g4, maybe preparing g5 and bust open the position. We have knight to h6, getting more control of that g5 square with the knight and the pawn, and now we have queen goes to c2, and here the right way to go was to play knight to c5, and then we would see something like castles, and this would be everything would be fine for both players. But here Bobby played knight to g5, which is a mistake. And what's the idea behind this move? The idea is that Bobby wants to play knight to h3 and knight to f4. And the point is that this is too slow because Fridrik, confident as he is, quickly plays h3 and prevents Bobby's plan. Bobby tried knight to c5, and now we have castles by Olafsson. And in this position, I can show you, if you guys are thinking about playing f5 and maybe bust open the position, this is premature in this position because Fridrik would first capture the knight. You need to recapture it. And now g takes on f5, g takes on f5, and rook from d to g1. As you can see by the eval, this is much better for white. So f5 is premature. After castles, you first need to start your own attack with bishop to d7. This is the right approach, and Olafsson played f3. Now we have a clear plan by Bobby. He played knight to a4. He wants to trade this important defender of white's king. We have knight captures and bishop captures, attacking white's queen and provoking b3. So white has got some weaknesses around his king. We have bishop goes back to d7 and bishop back to f2, controlling the long diagonal. And now a very nice move by Bobby. I didn't consider it, but if you look at the position closely, it's the best move in this position. Here I would probably continue with rook b8 or b5, maybe because everything is prepared, but Bobby played c5, and he secured his b5 push. And the point behind this move is, if you guys are thinking about grabbing this pawn, this is a mistake, because first of all, black will open the b file, so he can attack on the b file, he can push the pawn, but most importantly, he can strike in the center with d5. And after e takes on d5, c takes on d5, and rook captures on d5, you got that bishop to c6 idea, and white king is not surviving this. This pawn will march forward, you will bust open the position, and this king is getting checkmated. So after c5, Fridrik played h4, and as you can see, the position is still equal for both players, and after move 19, everything is fine. We have knight jumps to h7, and bishop goes to e3. And now we have b5. Bobby is playing very aggressively, and now it's the time I need to turn off the engine and consider subscribing if you're enjoying in this chess videos. So thanks for that, and now let's get straight to the game. We are in move 21, and this is the first mistake that Fridrik made, and it was mentioned in the book that this mistake turned the tables around. We have knight jumps to b1. After this move, the Bobby gets the initiative with f5. Now is the time, so he strike in the center. We have g takes on f5, g takes on f5, and e takes on f5. Bishop captures on f5, you're attacking white's queen, so where do you move the queen? Queen goes to d2, this is the only square. You can't move the queen in the mask of this bishop, you need to be very careful. So, and now this is the typical King's Indian defense move. You sacrifice the pawn to get control of that e5 square and free this important bishop. And now in this position, if you look at the position closely, can white grab this pawn? This is a mistake, and now your Bobby Fischer try to find, this is the first pause the video moment, try to find the best move while I give you a couple of seconds. What would you play here? If you found this one, you truly are on a grandmaster level. The winning move is e3. This is a brilliant move, and the point is, if you capture the pawn, we would see something like, first Bobby would capture the knight, you need to recapture it, so king captures and queen e5, and this is the best that white has, but this is positionally lost because the queen will give a check and then you will gobble those pawns, you will bust open the position. I think nobody would pick white in this position. And here in this, sorry, if I go back in this position, if you grab the pawn with the queen, if you thought about this, it's the same stuff, but this is even worse. You need to recapture it with the king, and now do you see this square? Queen delivers check. This is a nice fork, and you need to block, let's say for example, and now you pick up the bishop and you're completely winning. So in this position, Fridrik probably saw that and he played the second best move by the engine, rook from d to g1, pinning this bishop. And now this is very critical. The best thing for Bobby would be to defend the bishop with rook to a7. This is very quiet move, and Fridrik Ólafsson underestimated it. And we would see something like bishop captures on e6. Now you capture on f3, and after rook captures, bishop captures, and king captures, you first give a check on g1 square. King needs to move, and now you capture the pawn, but now do you see this rook and this bishop? You first capture the knight, and sorry, just a moment, sorry. White has got a very nice Zwischenzug in queen to g2. You're threatening checkmate, so you need to prevent mate, and you need to give the bishop back with bishop to g6. We would see something like captures, queen captures, and rook captures the queen, b takes on c4, and b takes on c4. And this would be equal for both players, but in the position here, Bobby played e takes on f3, and this is a mistake. We have a bishop captures on h6. The threat is rook captures on g7, you can't grab the bishop because you're getting destroyed. So Bobby played rook to a7 to defend the 7th rank. We have bishop captures and rook captures, and king captures on g7. And now bishop to d3, closing this long diagonal. If you thought in this position to grab the pawn, I can show you even this line. This is the losing move because Bobby would capture the knight with the bishop. You need to recapture it, and the rook captures the bishop. And now you're thinking about giving. Now you're thinking about giving a check with the queen to fork the rook and the king. Black has got an amazing resource in queen to g6. This comes with check, and you can't grab the rook because you're pinned. So we would see something like captures, and you're up a knight. So bishop to d3 is the best move white has, but in this position now we have b takes on c4. Bobby is destroying white's pawns. We have first rook g1. This is with check. King goes to h8, and now we have queen to c3 with check, and queen goes to e5. And it was said in the book that the queen straight favors Bobby, and you have got nothing better to trade queens. We have queen takes, e takes, and now bishop captures on f5, rook captures on f5, and b takes on c4. And if you look at this position closely, white has got two passed pawns, but and black has got two passed pawns, which will soon be connected and start marching forward. Now we have here in this position, if I can show you one line, if you thought about playing d6, Bobby would continue the game with knight f6. This was presented in the book, and after knight d2 to attack both pawns and control e4, we would see c takes on b3 and a takes on b3. e4 now, knight jumps to c4, but now we have f2. You need to stop the pawn with knight with rook to f1, but now knight jumps to g4. The threat is knight h2, and the rook is gone. King goes to d1 and knight to h2. And if d7, this is a big blunder, we would see something like rook delivers check, king goes to d5, but now you just first grab the rook. King captures, rook captures, and king captures. Now you play rook to d3. You cut the king to enter the game, and soon the king will gobble the pawns, and you're completely winning. So if we go back, on move 34th, we have b takes on c4, and now the knight, Bobby's knight, joins the action. We have knight to f6, knight d2, attacking the pawn. We have f2, attacking the rook, and rook goes to h1. e4 now. I'm really considering to put this position on a thumbnail because in this position, yeah, this is it. I'm going to ask you, you're playing with the white pieces, try to find the only move that holds the game for Fridrik Ólafsson in this position. What would you play here and why? If you found this one and the line behind it, you are over 2,500 because even the great Fridrik didn't find it. You need to find knight to f1. And the idea and the point behind this move is you need further control of that e3 square, and g3. We would see something like knight g4 to support e3 and then e2. But now king goes to d2, stopping e3. rook to f6, preventing the pawn from pushing to that d6 square, and now we have h5. Rook goes to b6, getting from behind and trying to gobble those pawns. We would see something like knight to e3, attacking the knight. Rook delivers check, and now you attack the rook. And now the best thing for black is to capture the knight. You capture the rook, and black needs to play knight to f5. This is the best defense because you need further control of that d6 square and e3 square to start pushing your pawns. And now the second critical position, here you need to find king to c2. This is the only move that holds the game. Everything else is just losing, and after e3, let's say for example d6, pushing the pawn, knight captures the pawn, but now the king gets closer to those pawns, so we would see something like knight to f5, defending the pawn, and rook goes in the game with rook to b1, and as you can see by the evaluation, this is a drawish position. It would be a draw with perfect play by both sides, but if we go back in this position, one move back, here if you thought about playing king to c1, this is now losing because e3 wins the game. We have king goes to d1, and now knight to g3 really wins. You've got nothing, no move can be played. If you, whatever you do, let's say for example, where to move the rook. If you play rook to h2, here it's e2, this is with check, king needs to move. You need to go back, and you just promote to a queen, so this is now losing. But if you go back in this position, Fridrik Olafsson didn't find this amazing knight to f1 defensive resource, and he played king goes to d1. This is a big blunder that loses the game, and we have e3, knight jumps to f1. Now the position is much different. We have rook goes to e5, defends the e3 pawn, and you're preparing to push the pawn to e2, and this would fork the king and the knight. So king goes to e2 and knight to h5. The threat is knight to f4. This would come with check. So king goes to f3, stopping the fork, but after e2, it was also in this position that Fridrik Ólafsson resigned the game because he knows he's getting checkmated in a few moves, and he can stop those pawns. I can show you one line. Let's say, for example, if the knight is attacked, so if you grab the pawn, the other pawn promotes, so this can be played. But if you try knight to h2, let's say, for example, black would bring the queen in the game, and if rook captures, f takes on e1, so this is game over. You can play some more moves, but this is a very nice checkmate, so you can play that. And even if you try, let's say for example, knight to g3, this is still not working. We would see something like e1. This is queen, and whatever you do, you capture, and you can even capture the knight. But now rook e4, you will soon, white king is getting checkmated, and if knight f6, attacking the rook, queen e2, this is a check, king goes to g3, and now queen e3, king goes to g2, and rook captures on c4. You're preparing lateral mate, and now if knight to e4, trying something, but there is nothing. We have rook c2, and you block with the knight. Rook captures, king goes to g2, and this is again a very nice mate. So if we go back, it all came down to this moment when Fridrik Ólafsson, who was really overconfident in this game, lost the initiative, and then it was all Bobby. So now the standings of this amazing tournament in Zurich, where there were also, I believe, 8 Switzerland players participating, but they were not all grandmasters. So here you go. As you can see, Michael Tal won the tournament with 11.5 points. Then we have Svetozar Gligoric from Yugoslavia with 11 points. Bobby Fischer and Paul Keres from Soviet Union shared third place with 10.5 points. So as you can see, the tournament was very close. We have Bent Larsen, a Danish grandmaster, with 9.5 points, is sharing fourth place with Wolfgang Unziker, grandmaster from Germany. Then we have Gedeon Baratza with 8.5, Fridrik Ólafsson with 8 points, Josef Cooper with 7 points, Edwin Bent with 6.5, and Jan-Hein Donner with 6.5, Dieter Keller with 6 points, Edgar Walter with 5 points, and Andreas Dugstein with 5 points, Max Blau with 2.5, and Erwin Nivergelt with 2.5 points. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed in 7th game of my Bobby Fischer series. Like I said, if you're enjoying, you can subscribe and enjoy more. Share this video and maybe invite your friends and some people who really like Bobby Fischer, so many people can enjoy in these amazing masterpieces. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you soon with the next chess video. Enjoy your day and goodbye.